The film opens in eerie silence. A man regains consciousness inside a strange cube-shaped room, each wall fitted with a hatch that appears to lead into more identical rooms. Disoriented and unsure of where he is, the man cautiously opens one of the hatches and steps into a glowing red room. But within seconds, horror strikes. Metallic spikes shoot out from the walls, impaling his body and slicing out a perfect cube of flesh. The trap is instant and deadly. The scene then shifts to another cube where we meet three other individuals: Yuichi Goto, Shinji Ochi, and a teenage boy named Chiharu Uno. None of them recall how they ended up here. Their personal belongings are gone. The room offers no clues, just cold uniform panels and silence. As they try to make sense of the strange structure, another man, Hiroshi Aide, appears. Before entering the next chamber, he tests the waters by tossing a shoe through the hatch. A cautious move. Moments later, a woman named Asako Kai also joins the group, adding another layer of mystery. As Hiroshi opens a hatch in the ceiling, a horrifying sight awaits. A lifeless body drops down from above. It's the man who died earlier, his corpse falling into their room and shaking everyone to the core. Driven by desperation, Shinji attempts to move forward, but Hiroshi quickly stops him. He warns that the rooms could be booby-trapped and demonstrates by throwing his shoe into a neighboring room. The moment it touches the floor, a torrent of fire engulfs it. Clearly, some rooms are lethal, each with different kinds of traps: pressure, motion, or heat sensors. From there, the group begins their slow, tense crawl through the labyrinth, progressing room by room. To detect danger, they rely on a crude but effective method: throwing their boots ahead before stepping in. Tensions start to rise. Shinji bombards the others with questions, but Hiroshi, clearly on edge, shuts him down sharply. At one point, in a dimly lit chamber, they encounter another survivor, an older man named Kazumasa Ando. He introduces himself as a company executive and initially assumes the group has come to rescue him, but his optimism quickly fades when he realizes they're just as lost and trapped as he is. Now 6 in total, they continue exploring the endless maze of cube rooms. During their movement, they notice that every passage connecting the rooms is marked with a 3-digit number, but none of them can figure out what it means. Soon, Yuichi is asked to check the safety of the next room. He throws his boot inside, waits briefly, and seeing no immediate threat, retrieves it. He declares the room safe. The rest of the group, trusting his judgment, climbs in. But the moment the hatch seals shut behind them, the lights flicker off and a hidden trap activates. From the ceiling, a sharp metallic fan begins to descend rapidly, spinning like a death machine. The room is far from safe. Panic sets in as the group scrambles to survive, now realizing that the cube isn't just a maze. It's a carefully engineered prison designed to test their instincts, patience, and trust, with deadly consequences at every step. Sensing the danger escalating by the second, the group scrambles in desperation, trying to unlock any of the hatches around them, but none respond. The sharp blades above inch closer, their slow descent turning seconds into an eternity. Realizing their only way out is through the bottom hatch, everyone prepares to drop down. But Yuichi freezes, paralyzed by fear, blocking the escape route. Without hesitation, Hiroshi shoves him aside, and the others plunge into the next room just moments before the deadly blades slice down. Though they narrowly escape with their lives, tension erupts. Hiroshi, fuming with adrenaline and frustration, lashes out at Yuichi, blaming him for nearly getting everyone killed. As the group regains their composure, young Chiharu, ever observant, kneels down with a button from his shirt. He scribbles numbers on the floor, having memorized room codes they passed. After some intense mental calculations, he comes to a breakthrough. The rooms that are rigged with traps all share one thing in common: prime numbers. To test the theory, Yuichi volunteers, choosing a hatch that displays only even numbers. He leaps into the unknown and lands safely. The theory holds. This room is normal. Buoyed by this discovery, the group carefully begins to navigate using Chiharu's logic. For a while, it works. They avoid trap after trap. But soon, they hit a critical problem. A room where every surrounding hatch seems to lead into a deadly trap. They recheck the numbers, hoping they've overlooked something, but the math offers no new answers. Asako suggests returning to the room they just came from, but that hatch is now sealed tight. Panic sets in. Trapped in a single room, frustrations boil over. Kazumasa turns on Chiharu, calling his prime number theory useless. In the midst of the argument, Hiroshi notices something alarming. This room's trap is triggered by sound. He quickly urges everyone to move in absolute silence. The group lines up, careful and quiet. But just as they're making progress, Shinji fumbles. His boot drops with a loud thud. The room instantly reacts. Electric laser bars burst to life, ready to incinerate anything in their path. Kazumasa, still inside the trap zone, is almost caught. Thankfully, the others manage to yank him out just in time. He escapes with a minor injury to his leg, but his rage flares. He scolds Shinji harshly, condemning the recklessness of youth. Trying to shift focus, Chiharu points to a diagram sketched on the wall, a large cube. It's a clue. The rooms they're moving through are all part of a massive 3D structure. The image suggests there is an exit somewhere, but finding it won't be easy. Before they can strategize, the room strikes again. Gas hisses from hidden vents, poisonous and fast spreading. With no time to think, they rush out. But confusion sets in. This room's number wasn't prime. Why was it trapped? The logic no longer holds, but they can't afford to stop. Pressing on, they enter yet another room, only to be met by a chilling sight. The decomposed body of the very first man who died. They're back where they started. The horrifying truth sinks in. They've been moving in circles all along. Despite the ongoing speculation, Shinji remains unconvinced about their surroundings and instead suggests a different theory, that the rooms within the cube are constantly shifting. Hiroshi, however, urges the group to keep moving forward, revealing that he's running out of time. As they navigate deeper into the structure, Yuichi asks Hiroshi if someone is waiting for him outside. Hiroshi's expression softens as he replies, "It's his wife." No matter how impossible things seem, he's determined to return to her. Their progress takes a terrifying turn when the cube suddenly shudders and Chiharu falls into a trap room rigged with deadly laser beams. Yuichi wastes no time and jumps in to save him. The two dodge several attacks, but the exit remains out of reach. That's when Hiroshi, risking everything, leaps in to help. He manages to get the boys back to safety, but not himself. A laser pierces his body and he dies in front of them. A devastating sacrifice. As the remaining group grieves Hiroshi's loss, Yuichi studies the room's numerical codes and makes a breakthrough. He realizes the hatch markings represent Cartesian coordinates. Based on his calculations, they need to move 4 more rooms along the y-axis to reach the cube's edge, which could potentially be the exit. With new hope, they follow Yuichi's plan and stop to rest. During the pause, Kazumasa opens up. He believes everything happening is divine punishment for his past sins. The betrayals, the people he hurt. Before they can respond, the ground erupts and metal bars split the room in two. Kazumasa and Shinji are separated from Yuichi, Chiharu, and Asako. With no way to reunite, Kazumasa and Shinji decide to seek the exit on their own and bid farewell. As Yuichi's trio pushes forward, they enter a room where a large screen displays a harrowing memory from Yuichi's past. It shows his younger brother, Hiroto, standing on a ledge, tormented by their father's abuse. Yuichi, in the video, pleads with him to endure it instead of helping him escape. Moments later, Hiroto jumps, a tragedy that still haunts Yuichi. The memory breaks him, but also reignites his resolve to protect those who are still alive. Meanwhile, Kazumasa continues to talk down to Shinji, blaming his entire generation for the world's problems. The tension escalates. Then, in a moment of rage, while Kazumasa is distracted looking into a hatch, Shinji suddenly strikes, slamming the hatch door onto his head, ending his life instantly. Back with the other three, Chiharu calls Yuichi out for failing to help his brother in the past. He opens up about his own struggles, showing bruises that reveal he's been hurt too, just like Hiroto. Emotionally overwhelmed, Chiharu tries to end his suffering by jumping into a trap room, but this time, Yuichi doesn't hesitate. He grabs him at the last second, refusing to let history repeat itself. Shortly after, Asako notices something unusual. They've arrived at the outer boundary of the cube. Peering through a hatch, they see a massive shell surrounding the rooms, with an opening at the bottom that might be a way out. They also spot a cube-like room functioning as an elevator. Yuichi quickly figures out its coordinates, and the trio heads in that direction. On their way, they come across Shinji, covered in blood. At first, they're relieved to see him, but when he explains Kazumasa's fate as an accident, doubts begin to surface. Choosing not to confront him right away, they press on. Eventually, Shinji reveals his true intentions. He traps the group inside a dangerous room and confesses he was the one who ended Kazumasa's life. Shinji explains that years of mistreatment at his job, constant scolding from the elderly store owner, and harsh treatment by customers had worn him down. Kazumasa's criticism became the final trigger. Shinji's resentment grew into something much darker, and now he sees no point in life, not for himself and not for anyone else. He launches at Yuichi, trying to choke him. Yuichi begins to fade, but a vision of his younger brother Hiroto gives him the strength to resist. With a renewed will to survive, he fights back. In the chaos, a trap in the room activates, claiming Shinji's life. Just before it can take the others, Yuichi throws Asako and Chiharu to safety, sacrificing himself in the process. Asako and Chiharu reach the elevator room. Chiharu steps onto the platform and begins descending. Asako, however, decides to stay behind, hoping she can still help others who might be trapped. Chiharu walks forward into a long corridor filled with light, his future left uncertain. Meanwhile, Yuichi awakens inside another cube. He's seriously hurt but still alive. Even in pain, he refuses to give in. And then comes a startling revelation. Asako isn't who she seemed. She's actually a highly advanced artificial being, designed to monitor and observe the people inside the cube. She's part of the larger experiment, keeping watch over every step the survivors take. The story ends as she approaches a new group and delivers the same eerie phrase she once said to Yuichi's team, "Who are you?"